What up, everybody? Today I'm going to show you guys how to code a function that can calculate the side of a of height of a of tangent. So basically, if you have the base b and you have the theta angle on the left side, then you could calculate the side of a. It's pretty much a simple function, but it's just going to show you guys how to code it. So what you would do on your calculator is, if you had a base b of, and base assuming it's a cosine, so if you had a base b of 20 and you had a theta angle on the left of like 27.5, then you'd be able to calculate the side of height of a. And then with that, you could find the hypotenuse or like anything else you want to find. So it's pretty simple. This is for beginners. I'm a beginner as well. I'm just gonna walk you guys through on how to code this. And I'm gonna write comments everywhere too. So first, we're gonna include IO stream. You know, the normal. That's our input output stream for STD cout, STD cin, all that stuff. Yeah. So basically, our input and output. And we're going to be using input in this function as well. And then we're going to include CMath as well. For this version, I'm going to be using C++23, but usually I use C++20, but I'm going to use 23 because the CMath functions in 23 is way easier. So then I'm going to use namespace std to get rid of our std like cout and everything. So get rid of std cout, std cin, all that stuff. Sorry, my typing is atrocious, actually. Okay, and so we're gonna create our first function. So we're going to do float, and I'm using a float. So our answer of side a isn't just a single integer, or it isn't rounded to the nearest 10th or 100th. It's gonna be, I'm pretty sure it goes out maybe 5 or 6 decimals, so that's enough to be able to round up. Or if your answer says don't round, that's not decimal places to be good. So we're gonna do float, and I'm gonna name it calc side a, and we're going to input our two variables. So I'm going to do float theta angle, which will be the angle on the left side. So we have the 90 degree, and then we have our angle C up top. So our angle A is going to be our theta angle, pretty much. And then I'm going to do double base length. Yeah, I could probably use an integer, but our base length isn't always, just a int. So I'm just going to do that. And use the curly brackets. So to start off with, we're going to initialize a constant double, which is pi. C++ might have a pi function that you could use, but we're just going to hard code it in for simplistic purposes right now. So, that is my SoundCloud. Yikes. Did not mean to do that. I meant to copy the length of pi. Oops. So we're going to do const double pi is equal to 3.1415, all that jazz. I think I went up 20 or something, but it doesn't really matter. So we're gonna make a const double pi, and then the first thing we're gonna do is convert our theta angle, which we're gonna type in degrees, into radians. The formula for converting degrees to radians and radians to degrees is pretty simple. If it's degrees to radians, you're just going to divide that degree by 180 pretty much, and then put pi at the top. So it's degrees times pi over 180. And then to convert from radians to degrees, you're just going to divide the top number of radian, or you're going to multiply, the top radian by 180 and then divide by the bottom one. So if you have 3 pi over 4, you're going to multiply 3 times 180 divided by 4, and that's your degree. So we're going to code that formula in, or that function in. So we're going to do double angle rad. I'm going to name it angle rad. is equal to theta angle times our const double pi divided by 180. And so that's basically converting degrees to angle rad. Okay, and then we're going to get into our meat and potatoes, as you could say, of the function. So we're going to do double calc side A is equal to theta angle times, I'm sorry about that. We're going to do base length times tangent, which you get from the CMath function. So you're going to definitely want to import the CMath function. And this is why I said it's easier in C++23. I'm sure you have, in C++20 there is other parameters for the tangent function, I'm pretty sure. In C++11 there's other parameters that you needed for tan, I think, but here we just do tan and then input our angle rad. Make sure you don't input your theta angle, because if you do, it's not gonna show up correct. I'm not sure why it doesn't. I don't know if it's because it comes out as a radian or what, but it just won't come out correct. So make sure you have that as angle rad in your tangent function. And this is just converting or getting the side A. And we're also gonna assume that we're using tan. We could obviously code other functions that like sine or cosine, secant, cosecant, but for this function right now we're just gonna assume that we're using the tangent. And basically our function is pretty much done, so we're just gonna return calc side A. Actually, I shouldn't name it calc side A. I'm just gonna name it side A. So we're gonna return side A. And that's pretty much our finished function. So now we're just going to go to int main. This is just our main function group. So this is where all our input output stuff, our variables, our tests are going to be pretty much. So I'm going to initialize two functions. I'm going to just basically say the same thing. So double theta angle and double base length. So we're going to have the user input their variables into here. And after that, we're going to just do like basic cout, cin functions. So this is just like basically UI stuff, I guess you could say. I don't know if I'm using the right terminology, but basically we're just gonna have a cout that says what is your theta angle, a cin that says, or a cin that lets you input theta, cout base length, what is your base length, cin base length, and then we're gonna call the function, and that's pretty much it. So we're going to do cout input theta angle, and we're not going to use new line because if we did, then our input would be below the input theta angle, which is fine, I guess, but it just doesn't look that appealing, you know. So we're going to do cin theta angle, and that's basically the input, the data and information that we input after input theta angle is going to go directly into the double theta angle. So this is basically like pointing towards what our input is going to be. I'm pretty bad at explaining, I apologize. I'm also a beginner pretty much, so I don't know if I'm explaining right, but I'm trying to help, you know, other beginners or people that are looking to be in computer science to like help them code better functions and all that. I did take Java before this, JavaScript and Java, so I do know how to code, but C++ is like new territory. So So our next cout is going to be input baseline, and then we're just going to do obviously cin baseline, and basically everything's done. Now we just have to call our function to input both of these values that we did to get our side A. So we're just going to do, there's multiple ways to do this too, but the way that I like the most, because you put it right in your cout, it's probably not the best way to do it, but for this function right now it's perfectly fine. So we're going to do cout side A is equal to, and then we're going to do two more less than signs, and then we're going to call our function. So calc side A, and then we're going to input both of our parameters, so theta angle and then base length, and then we're just going to inline here, and that's pretty much it. So we could compile that, and as you can see, build finished successfully, and then we could run our program. So as you see right here, input theta angle, we're going to input, it's usually an acute angle, so we're just going to do like 32.4, and input base length, let's say the base of B, which is cosine, is equal to 8. So this is our side A, so our B is equal to 8 and our A is equal to 5.07. So with this two information, we could calculate our hypotenuse, or we could even get another angle if we wanted to get let's say like sine, or like the angle of sine, which would be like top right or something. Obviously with the right triangle you could get the angle by doing 180 minus 90 plus 32.4, because all the angles have to add up to 180. But we could do the inverse sine of 8 over 5.07 and get an angle by that too. So there's many functions you could do after you get the side of A. You can do all this with the calculator, but it's pretty cool to code it into a function in C++. And if we want to double check, we could go onto a calculator. So we have 8 and 32.4. So we could do 8 times tangent 32.4, and as you could see, we would get 5.07695. 5.07695. So that's pretty much just like a simple function to calculate the side of A. To go through it again, we included our input-output stream, we included the CMath library, using namespace std just to make it easier on ourselves, so we don't have to do std : for all this. And then we made our constant double of pi, so we could convert the degrees to radians right here. And in our function, we did calc side A with two parameters, which is float theta angle and double base length. And we're going to assume that in calculating side A, we are using the tangent function. So here we have our double side A, which is equal to, as we did in our calculator, it's equal to base length, which would be 8, times the tangent of our theta angle, or 32.4 for us. So, and we just made sure to use our angle rad that we did in our conversion here. And we're just going to return the side of A, which is right here. And so then we made our two variables for our users to input their certain parameters into there. So they could use any theta angle or any base length that they want to. And then we just called our function to get the side of A, which is returned here, and that's why it says side A is equal to our return function, which is 5.07695. So it's a pretty cool function, pretty easy function to write, pretty cool program that you could incorporate in anything that you want, like any program or project that you're doing. Sorry I'm bad at explaining. It's my first time using C++ like this in depth. I am a beginner, but I do like have some knowledge. I'm trying to help people and basically document my journey. I coded this function last night at like 3 a.m. or 2 a.m. So I just wanted to share it with other people. So if it helped you, that's good. And I'll be making more videos and stuff on C++ functions, and go like more into depth on functions and just different like programs that you can make. I'm focused on the word functions right now because it's like all I did in this video, but just go into other things that you could do with C++. So I'm glad I could help you guys, and I'll see you guys later.